I can hear him. Yeah. Okay. So what is your issue, Preston? Because you've been going wild in this chat. What's going on?
Yo, man, it's just because I feel like some of your points, like you're talking about how like Trump is racist or whatever.
Tell me, Preston, what have Trump said that was racist?
Take a breath. Take a breath. Let's keep it civil, okay?
I'm listening.
Like saying, like calling COVID. Like, you don't think that has like a little bit.
COVID came from a China lab.
Oh my God!
China,
are we talking about COVID? It's 2025, babes. Leave COVID in 2019. It's over.
Preston, it is a known fact, okay, that this COVID-19 virus came from a China lab, bro. This is why it's called the Chinese virus.
Ching chong ching chong ching 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 chong.
What is your response to that?
Okay. I personally don't believe that it came from a China lab, but hey, man, if you disagree with me, that's all.
They put it in Chinese movies.
Where did it come from?
Where do you think it came from? I'm curious.
Where did it come from? That's a good question.
Trump.
Just like the same way, like all the other viruses come from. But you know what? Me and you just gonna
Africa?
He's Africa.
Where do viruses come from?
In the lab.
Like Ebola.
I'm listening, Preston. I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
Well, no, you're straight, man. But what do you think about like? Because me personally, I'm a federal worker, and that's one of the big reasons that I'm so anti-Trump. Because he's cutting the federal workforce, and I know there's this stigma that him and Elon have, like, gone out in the public. Like, all federal workers are lazy; they need to be cut. Like, no, I think when I go to my job,
wait, hold on. All federal.
So wait a minute. Wait, can I rebut that? Can I rebut that for a second? Now, I also am a federal worker, right? What is one of the main policies? What is one of the main policies that Trump ran on? Do you work overtime?
Did I work? Oh yeah, but I made it.
So you work overtime, correct?
Yeah.
So you do realize the money that you make on overtime was being taxed from 25 to 35% during the Biden administration?
That's crazy.
Hello?
But if you think about it, Biden actually did more for federal workers because
So wait, whoa. Did you hear what I just said?
No.
So what did Trump? You gotta answer the question first. What did Trump run on? He ran on no tax on overtime, right? No tax on tips, no tax on overtime. Isn't that correct?
He hasn't actually, implemented this policy that he talks about where it's going to be no tax on overtime, but he has cut federal jobs.
Can I ask him something real quick?
What federal job did he cut?
Can he hear me?
Bro, what do you think? He said he has nothing to do with Project 2025, but he is following.
Oh my God!
I haven't heard Project 2025 since 2025 started.
Can I ask him something? Can the caller hear me?
Go ahead. Can you hear the co-host?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, he can hear you. Go ahead.
What's your name, caller?
Preston.
Preston.
Okay, Preston. You said you're a federal worker. Are you still currently employed?
Yeah, I'm still in federal work, but only because I'm enrolled in Border Patrol now.
Right. So you talk about Trump cutting these federal jobs, and then you say that Trump's cutting people that he quote unquote calls lazy, and then you follow up by saying that you're a pretty good worker, hence why you're still employed. Don't you think that just goes into what you said, because you say you're a good worker and you're still employed, so it seems like you are a good worker, right?
Literally cut federal jobs. Like he's trying to dismantle the Department of Education. He got rid of.
The Department of Education sucks. Kids aren't learning anything. What do you mean, dude? Come on, Preston.
Yeah. So
look at the reading efficiency. Look at the math efficiency in America, especially when it comes to African Americans in America, bro. These kids aren't learning shit.
Okay. Yeah. So
that's true.
If you don't mind, I wanted to talk about this earlier, but let's talk about like systematic oppression, because
we moved on. We
moved on.
We said topic mighty
Okay.
fast.
No,
No,
Preston.
let him finish. Let him finish. We respect opinions on this channel.
'Cause
Go
I want to
ahead.
bring
I'm
it
listening.
back. He's talking about systematic oppression. I thought it was systemic.
I think you're a solid dude. I just think you're a little misguided. You may think the same about me. That's cool, but I'm down to hear your opinion if you're down to hear mine.
Hey, I like
Well,
you,
I've
Preston.
debunked everything.
Preston, I like you.
Listening.
I like you, Preston.
Yeah, but like to me, when it's like when you come down, like you're like, oh, it's just slavery. It's not just slavery. If you think of slavery leading into Jim Crow, leading to the war on drugs, you know, all of this has a ripple effect. Do you not agree? Like,
I strongly disagree.
We
What are we talking about
were better
right now?
under Jim Crow.
No, we
Do you not
strongly
realize
disagree.
that? Hold on. I'm gonna assume you're a Caucasian male, right?
yeah, I'm Caucasian.
Which is okay. I don't have a problem with that. Shout out to the white folks. Y'all know y'all. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, what's up? But at the end of the day, dude, listen to what you're saying. You're saying Jim Crow. Like, dude, when you really think about it, who was really like in charge during the Jim Crow era? That would be Lyndon B. Johnson, dude. Who's a Democratic white man, by the way. You know what I'm saying? So when we put two and two together, who was really keeping black folks down? It was the government.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Lyndon B. Johnson followed up giving civil rights after the assassination of James.
No. Majority of the listen, bro. Majority of the civil rights law that was signed by Republicans. That was signed by majority Republicans, bro. Not Democrat.
Not a single Democrat voted on the Civil Rights Act.
Did you know that?
Yeah, I tell you what, man. You post the link in the chat, I'll read up on it.
This is
you can look it up.
bro.
There's no link.
This is documented. This has been documented for decades.
Yeah, there's no link. You can go to U.S. government.
Just ask ChatGPT right now. Ask it right now on the phone. Go ahead.
You can
right
ask
now.
Siri. I'm sure you have an iPhone. Ask Siri right now how many Democrats voted on the Civil Rights Bill of 1964. You will see that it says 0. So Lyndon B. Johnson did a performative act of making the Civil Rights Bill, but no Democrats actually supported that bill.
This is crazy. And do you know who the first legal slave owner was in America? That would be Anthony Johnson, who was a black man.
Anthony Johnson is a black man from.
He's a black man, bro.
Where is he from?
He was the first.
Yeah, he's from some black country.
Right.
Can I finish what I was saying though?
Go ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Just let me finish my thought before you come in and with the bros and the like I'll let you talk and let me talk. You like that, okay? But
all good, man.
But like slavery and whether you think it was better for the black community or not, Jim Crow, you have the Middle Passage, you have the war on drugs, and one of the big ripple effects from the war on drugs, because I'm hoping that we can all agree that the war on drugs was mainly targeted against black people. So a lot of black fathers were up from
it was mainly targeted against crackheads.
What happens when kids grow up without fathers, right? What do you think happens?
Well, ask him. He grew up without a father.
I grew up without my dad in the house, and I think I turned out pretty cool.
He did not resort to crack.
Yeah, but I resorted to Christ.
Put that on.
Hold on.
Put that on.
Can I ask you something, Preston?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Do you have to be a firefighter to know what a fire is?
No, absolutely not.
So you can identify a fire just by seeing it, correct? So we can agree with that, right?
No, I can agree.
We can agree with that, right? So.
To agree with that, but what I think you're failing to understand is that when kids grow up without fathers, like I said, I'm sure we can all agree that grow up but you're like, I feel like you're kind of contradicting yourself because you were saying earlier that black kids underperform in schools, that the Department of Education is broken.
But that's a fact, though.
I think
that's not how I feel. That's not how I feel. But that's not how I feel, though, Preston. That's a fact that black.
Are we gonna blame it on the kids themselves, or are we gonna blame it on
we blame the parents.
Yeah,
We blame the
we
parents.
yeah,
We blame the woman who allowed herself to become a single mom.
Hey, Preston. Hey, Preston. Real quick, can I ask you something? So can we agree that the government is like kind of heavy-handed when they do stuff?
Yeah, and I think they're even more heavy-handed now with all these executive orders.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So the thing with like defunding the public education is that he doesn't want it to be federally funded because the federal funding comes with a lot of strings attached. You know, I think we can both agree that with federal funding, there's a lot of executive acts that came in under Trump, Biden, and even Obama that not everybody agrees with. So the reason why he's defunding the federal education is because with these quote unquote strings attached, not only are the kids being let down as far as they're not being able to read or write on grade level, and sometimes not even school wide, they're also being indoctrinated with propaganda as far as LGBTQ indoctrination, even like civil rights indoctrination as far as like the North versus the South, Democrats versus Republicans. Yeah,
Hold on.
yeah,
What, can you repeat that? Can you repeat that, Preston?
I said can make that argument from both sides because I grew up in Middle Tennessee. I also lived in South Florida. I lived there, in a city outside of Boston, and currently I live in Washington. And I was like, trust me, the schools in Tennessee are just as conservative in their values as Seattle is, leftist with their values. It's not just one way or the other.
Yeah, I agree with you, Preston. And both sides are starting to look very similar. I agree with you on that. But I'm saying is when you have it at a federal level, it's too heavy-handed. So do you think that the schools would be better run if there was more control on a local level?
Mm.
On a local, but how do you propose we do that?
By defunding the public education from the federal level.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so who's going to pay for it?
The tax dollars
Who you
of the
think pay for
hold on, Vashawn.
The parents.
Hold on, Vashawn. The schools are already being subsidized by the taxpayers in the area, correct?
Yeah, but if I'm understanding what you're saying correctly, you said they want to remove it from the federal level. So I'm assuming if we're removing it from the federal level, that means our federal tax dollars won't go towards the Department of
Yeah, our federal dollars won't go, but that also means that our local, state, and city taxes will go, and not to mention that the money that we have within the community will go, and people can even donate to the schools. If I know
You can always donate.
and now I know that because the federal is not taking my tax dollars to go towards the school. It's more money in our pockets to where we can actually be more inclined to donate to the schools that our kids are going to. We can be more. We can go to the city councils and say, hey, we don't want this to be happening. We don't want our kids to learn this. We could demand the curriculum for our kids, and we actually can have leverage because we are the ones paying for it versus this is this is a federal legislation where we kind of got to do it. So it's like, well, fuck what the parents say about what they want for their kids. Do you think maybe that may be a different approach? We haven't seen something like that in quite some time. Do you think maybe this change may be good?
No. I just want you to repeat that last part because I didn't catch it because you cut out on my end.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I was saying, with the with withholding the federal funds, do you think that parents being able to actually withhold, they have more freedom to negotiate with these school boards, considering that they're more inclined and they're more financially active in their in their student school? Do you think that's a good thing to where they can actually negotiate what their kids in the community are able to learn?
Right.
No, I get it. I get exactly what you mean, and to a certain extent, I do agree with you. But I'm assuming when we're talking about propaganda, I think the first thing that comes to my mind is, you're more likely than not referring to the LGBT issues, right?
I mean, yeah, that's one of them, but like just as simple as like even more so focusing on math, reading, science, and stuff like that. Like that's the most important stuff. Like everything else is just extracurricular.
No, I agree with that. I can't disagree with you on that. I agree that I feel like children's education should be more expansive to, because me personally, I believe every person, every child has their own unique qualities. Not everybody's going to be, good in only those 4 subjects.
Right.
Right. It should be more.
But don't you think those are the 4 subjects that they kind of need to be efficient in?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I believe they're essential, but I don't think I believe that, especially whenever you're in elementary and high school. No. I guess my last remark is, man, I know we were talking shit to each other in the chat. We all got a little hyped up. I think it's important. I think it's important whenever you make these calls, man, is that because I don't feel like we're gonna get anywhere if we just bash each other the whole time. We don't listen to each other's opinions.
No, I just do that. I just do that to reel in the callers, man. The calls usually end up pretty good in the end. Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes for good content too. I get it.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, man. I think it's important to have these discussions, and everything you told me, I'll read up on, and anything I told you, I encourage you to do research on it as well.
I definitely will.
Yeah, and Preston, I want to say I really enjoyed this call. It was really cool. You seem like you definitely got a good head on your shoulders, man. I think we both want the same outcome. I just think we have different ways of getting there. And I've noticed it's like that with a lot of people. That's kind of the divide that we have. We want prosperity for the country, but I just think we have different means of getting there.
For sure. For me, it's like I said, I grew up in Middle Tennessee. Pretty much from right when I was born all the way up to late middle school. So I grew up with conservative values. It's just me personally, and to some extent, I still am conservative. I believe in border patrol. I believe in gun rights. All that fun stuff. But I can't get behind Trump, man. I just there's something that I just think he's a crook. I don't think he's racist like other people are claiming. He has some. I just don't think he cares about the average American, black or white. So.
Preston,
that's fine.
And Preston, hey, you might be right. You might be right, but and I like Trump. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't watching him like a hawk. I look at damn near everything this guy does. It's definitely a lot of stuff that I don't agree with that he does. But I'd be lying if I say that I prefer Kamala over him. We damn near didn't have no choice at this point because I was certainly not voting for Kamala. It's just like you're right to be critical of Trump. You're absolutely right, and I love that you are critical of him. But I think we should just we shouldn't count everything he do as bad, and we shouldn't judge his character because ultimately we are only hiring him for a job. This is his job. Our vote is like currency to him. We paid him to do this job, and everything he does in his personal life. Okay, that's a little shady. Yeah, okay, I don't agree with that. But at the end of the day, what is he doing, and what are the fruits of his job and his labor for us? I think that's how we can judge our president. But judging him personally, it doesn't do anything but cloud our judgment on his job. But I feel what you're saying, though, Preston. Great call, man. I appreciate you.
For sure.
Yeah, not a problem. I hope you guys get some good callers. And like I said, I just hope that we can all just communicate with each other a little bit more and, I don't know, figure it out together. You feel me?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure, man. And Preston, when you get a chance, man, check out our channel as well. Choo Choo and Zaza. Choo Choo as in Chew, CHEW, Chew Food. Yeah, just check us out, man. I think you would like our content as well, for sure.
Absolutely.
Hey, man, you'll catch me over there, okay? You guys have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your calls, okay?
Yep, you too, man. Hey, thank you for joining, Preston.